What up? What up?
Hey, what's up?
I think what Tinfoil, did your internet just go bad on you like the second we
We were
started?
we were on mute. We had a lot of echoes going on. There was a bunch of going on to that intro.
Okay.
What's going on, ladies and gents?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Nice. Really happy to be here, man.
Yeah, this is exciting. So, Phil, you're a native to the HBAR ecosystem, and this is really exciting. This is going to be our first ever NFT alpha episode that is focused on the HBAR ecosystem. We've been building ecosystems across Phantom, uh, Avalanche. We did mints on Matic, and it's been a huge journey for us trying to break down these walls of the maximalism that exists on chains. For us personally, in going through this journey, we've learned really quickly that the walls can be broken, and they are starting to fall. We've noticed the HBAR ecosystem really starting to boom. Uh, Coming over to the HBAR ecosystem, there's so much I want to talk about because you guys have great tools already over there, in terms of a marketplace. The Zeus marketplace is a great tool. The Hashpack wallet is arguably it might be the best wallet experience I've had in all of crypto. Um, what has the growth of this ecosystem been like for you? Because I imagine if I go back to your early days in HBAR, you're doing these private transactions that you don't even have a wallet experience yet. Uh, yeah, what's this growth in the ecosystem been like for you?
It's been insane, man. Because it goes back to 14 months or so. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. Seriously, especially going for trades on Twitter. Imagine, through
Yeah,
DMs and
yeah,
whatnot. So there was this level of trust that was truly amazing. Where you really were doing a hail mary, right? Uh, it's been a long run, but not a tedious one, in the sense that it's been fun because again, the ecosystem right now is so young, that everybody's helping each other. So
mm,
even though you have downtimes, and sometimes it's long because oh my god, you're wondering when's that new launch pad is going to go, or what's happening, or you're looking out for much more metrics, and you want more people to come in. You always have that network of people that's so genuine and that's so new that you're like, wow, man, this is still a fun ride regardless. So it's been a fun ride, honestly.
yeah. I can only imagine. For me, uh, I got to do this on the Phantom ecosystem when I first got into Phantom, and oddly enough, I only learned about Phantom because of HBAR. HBAR was one of the early tokens that I held, and there was a little conspiracy on Twitter that Andre had stolen code from Lehman Baird and created Phantom, and that's why HBAR was closed source at the time. I don't know what the whole thing was about, but that's what opened my eyes up to the Phantom ecosystem. And at the time, both tokens were just tokens. They didn't have ecosystems. But then the first decks started popping up on Phantom, NFTs started popping up, DeFi started popping up, and it was just so much fun to be a part of this boom in an ecosystem. Um, I mean, we seen it on social media where your Twitter following, 10x's like your portfolio probably did. Uh, you know, then there is that kind of rising tides raises all ships mentality, where it's like, oh, we are all going to win here.
Hmm.
Let's do this for the ecosystem. And it does feel like HBAR is very much in that phase. Saucer swaps, I think, is a massive kickoff to a lot of that. Um, but where I think HBAR is sitting in a really interesting spot is onboarding, and I'd like to kind of know your point about this. For me, when I'm looking at onboarding people outside the ecosystem, typically it's been through like a trust wallet or a MetaMask, which, in comparison to a Hashpack, is almost a scary experience. If I'm first getting into crypto and having to use a MetaMask, I can't even type the words MetaMask on Twitter without 100 scam bots trying to get my funds. Um, let's talk about the onboarding process for HBAR. How are you seeing it? Where can thing What can we do as as people trying to help the HBAR ecosystem in terms of trying to onboard people?
First and foremost is to have the great attitude. We've seen it all through summer, especially with Solana, having trouble, and we've had this huge Hedera hate wave, right? The correct attitude to have is not to, and I've been guilty by that, is not to hammer down, Solana deal, a delay of 30 minutes on their network or whatever. The correct attitude is just to bring the most people in and say, wow, look how XYZ, it's so easy to, first and foremost, have a wallet. Second of all, there's a marketplace. Third of all, if you're doing secure trade, it's safe. So the onboarding is really in the easy pace right now because the ramp is so easy. The ecosystem is still really small. It's infantile right now. There's basically no one. There's less than 3,000 active wallets right now on the Hedera scheme. So the more you broaden your eyes and your space and the way you approach things up, and you say, hey, just come around and just don't judge and just come up and have fun. People are just going to go like, wow, this is easy. It's cost effective. It costs you nothing. Whether you're minting, a creator, enthusiast, its ease of use is unmatched. And, of course, I've been to ETH. Of course, I've been to Sol. But again, those three networks, which I consider, of course, this to me, those are the three leading ones. They're the best, but in the way that they can benefit from one another. So as far as onboarding goes, just as long, as you just give at least, the chance to have some more people in and just that they can onboard and have a great experience with it, an amazing ease of use, wow, you're winning and you don't want to go back for sure.
Well, I find this really interesting because, it's awesome. Just as we met before the show, you're from Quebec, so fellow Canadian. I'm supposed to be meeting up with, didn't get a chance to last weekend, but I'm going to be meeting up with a couple other HBAR fans in the area. It does seem like there's a bit of a Canadian presence in the HBAR community. What do you think led to that? Where do you think that came from?
The vibe in India is for sure 100%. Because it's so welcoming, and it's really much like us Canadians, right? Because often we're seen as the gentle type of people. We're so welcoming. Sometimes for better or worse, right? But I think there's a resonance over there. It really strikes true in terms of wow. You come onto Hedera, whether you're someone that's creating or something that just want to flip JPEGs. You're going to find a good community, and people are going to say good morning and great morning to you every single day, every single time. If it's not that project, it's the other one. If it's not, you're going to find something. You're going to find your juice over there. And that's to me is a reflection to Canada, whether it's Quebec, whether it can be British Columbia, anything. It's really strikes true to me as the same type of culture of welcoming people that says, wow, this is so new, this is refreshing. And mostly, there's great vibes.
I want to ask, sorry, Voodoo, go ahead.
Yeah, I have something important to say. I feel like there could be a lot of tension and friction between you two, as Tinfoil is known as the thirst trap of the fandom ecosystem, and I can tell that Phil is obviously filling that role. I know there's Mitchell as well. Mitchell posts like nude PFPs of himself to get, he's a big HBAR. Awesome guy down in Miami. I'm just kidding. He's got a picture like from here up of him like on the beach or something. But Phil, I love your YouTube content. I love what you're doing for the NFT scene on Hedera with your mints and drops Discord. Um, Obviously, I think that having like a hub for people to go to learn about things that's pretty impartial, but also just unites projects and brings projects together is very vital for any ecosystem. And what led to you creating the Mints and Drops Discord? How has that been? I mean, every time I hop in, it's active. It's hard to ever go in at a time where there's, the general chat is not moving. And that's awesome to see. And it's a place where I've felt welcome to bring our projects in and talk about it. But also that's where I discovered the Elysian project, which I minted like 53. So screw you.
Yeah, from Ethan. Shout out to Ethan. Yeah.
You made me go broke on that mint. But I had a lot of fun with that. But, what led to you creating that? Did you just feel like, hey, there's a void in the space, I want to help fill it? Or were people asking for it and then you decided, hey, I'll be the guy to step up?
Mm-hmm. Hey, that was 10 months ago. Okay, so 10 years ago, right, in our ecosystem. Since the time goes 10 times as faster. So,
Yeah.
and I was with my fellow brother Jim, and we were just having a Discord conversation through DMs, and you're really simplistic. We're buddies since the month of September, the year before, and we were just saying like, hey man, I mean, new projects were coming along. There was this new phase of projects coming in. Back then, bear in mind there was less than 10 projects, there were back then. Maybe November, October 2021. So at one point, in January, February, people were getting really on board. Cyber Hedera was coming in hard. Koala Hash Club too was coming in with major bombs. So at one point, we were getting like, hey man, we need a vector. We need some kind of hub. We need a silver lining, a line where you can get all your juice at one place, because Twitter, Discord, Twitter, and all DMs, you're going to lose track. So we decided to hop this off, and we really started off this brand of everybody up to everybody. We did invent the word, of course, and the word in French is mutualisation, but in English, the best word so far I found is mutuality, where you come to a spot and everybody vibes for the other. And that's key, right? Because especially in such an infantile, session from, the ecosystem, it's key that you work all together. And I'm not saying like, go on and, there's no FUD or there's no feud. Beef will happen. People will not be your friends all the time, but the most you can, I mean, just go in, go ham, and the worst you're going to get is a no. So we started up this Discord, the most project we were in, and I'm the guy who goes in and say hi to you, even though it's been a month, because I know it's been crazy and, it's insane out here. So, maybe you didn't have time, you didn't take time, but it's nothing against you. So we were like focusing every single aspect, all those fun we've had. And we say, hey, this is going to be a spot. This is going to be a fun. And you're going to know what's up through the Hedera NFT space. And through the months after that, through the years, I can almost say it's been crazy. I really restarted it back with YouTube because I wanted to be closer, right? Because you write that down, you write stuff out. Of course, you have information, but you can see people, you can feel it. That's an additional layer, that people need sometimes, because people need what's real and what's concrete. So yeah, and I'm really happy so far.
I love that, and it really is fun. I was joking earlier, but Tinfoil and you essentially have served the same exact roles in the respective ecosystems. I mean, when I came into Phantom NFTs last August, 14 months ago or so, it was his Discord. When did you start the Rabbit Hole Discord? But it was basically a
Yeah,
place where artists and just everyone in the community could go to find out about every mint. He also had this bot set up so you could see the sales bot of everything that was selling. And those were, once again, it wasn't as new at that point. I think maybe Phantom's NFT scene was maybe 6 months ahead of Hedera as far as timeline, as far as when it started popping and everything. But yeah, it served the same purpose, and it led to him being a really respected person that brought the community together. And you kind of become that voice of like, hey, if this person's behind it, even if they're not on the team or whatever, but if they're saying they're excited about this project, well, then I feel safe being that way too. And there's a lot of pressure with that. Sometimes it's
There
not
is.
pressure you like, but it's a good burden. Leadership has a weight to it, and that's what makes it important.
It does. It does. And at one point, of course, you make some disclaimers. You do the work. You do the due diligence. In a way that you kind of have to let people make their own choices. But at one point, people are going to come at you and say, "Hey, am I going to mint this? Is this a rug? What's going on with this?" They're going to come at you. And yes, there's this weight that comes, with great power comes great responsibility, if you can throw that on. But that's truly what it is. And I've always said that, in a way that I don't matter. I'm just a vessel. I'm just there. I get DMs. I see stuff. I just put it all out. And after that, it's for you to make your own choices. But it's a fun part, because I'm like that anyways in real life, where, I try to connect people who do not know each other yet. And I know it's going to make fireworks. So I only propelled that inside a world that, I was new in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a very similar mentality to myself and Voodoo, and that's why we do shows like this. But it's it's much more of like, it's not like just buy everything I buy, but it's like you try to teach people how to look into things, what to look into, what red flags
Hmm. Yep.
to notice. Teach a man to fish, right? Uh,
Yep.
yeah, I think that's huge, and this kind of leads perfectly into a topic because being at the forefront of some of these ecosystems. Uh, it swings both ways. So when things are great, it's all sunshine and rainbows. When things go down,
Hmm.
the loud hater voices, they can get in your head.
Persist.
Uh,
Yeah.
w- have you dealt with this yet on HBAR
Hmm.
at all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
have. Yeah.
For sure, we've had a huge episode of big FUD towards a project. That's been, for the most part, 99% really positive in our space. And we know we've had a couple of fudders, on Twitter, hammering down, on this project like crazy, with accusations and whatnot. And most of the time, I try to stay away from this because,
Mhm.
first of all, it doesn't last. Second of all, you get caught up in that, and there's so many ways to get miscommunications out of socials, and especially Twitter or even Discord, because you're so far away, you can't see someone. You just throw a text out, and then after that, there's 1,000 ways for you to interpret that, and then you're doomed, and then you're spiraling down into a way that did not matter at the very beginning. So, of course, we experienced it, but at smaller degrees compared to other networks, like, say, for ETH or Sol, for sure. But the very basics of it is still present, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're spot on, and I'm glad you mentioned Ethan Soul because I don't even, sometimes I don't even think about the amount of like little infighting that goes on, but there's tons of it. There's reasons that accounts like Zach XPT even exist, is because of the amount of fighting that goes on. Now, we mentioned it before we came on air. As not an outsider, but as a bit of an outsider looking in. Uh, Hedera is entering this new growth phase.
Mhm.
We went through the Hedera heat wave, where if you launched a project, it was minting out. It didn't matter what price you name it, it was going to sell out and hit the secondary market and go crazy. That phase, the little honeymoon phase, is now seemingly coming to an end.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about this growth step. Is it Is it I know because you're acting as a hub, again, this is where a lot of the responsibility kind of feels like it comes back to you, right? Where people are coming to you asking, "All right, what do I need to mint? Give us some alpha. How are you looking around at the HBAR ecosystem, and how are you kind of deciphering who am I going to support and who not to?"
Mhm. Two things. The very first, to the Hedera heat wave, it was kind of crazy because, yes, most projects that were launching, were selling out, and it was absolutely crazy. On Zeus Marketplace, there was 24-hour volumes were nuts. 3 million for us, and on the 24 is absolutely crazy. Right now, it's 424 or so. Um, but other projects, for various types of reasons, got wrecked. Absolutely got wrecked. And art was nice, community was cool. They somewhat took their time, inside this very bubble, which we've had, like, say, 8 weeks or so. And they got wrecked. They got wrecked with FUD because, of course, they were launching too fast. They came in, they were onboarding too fast, not the same pace that we were used to have. So there was this kind of um, acclimation, if I can say. You had to have leveled up to really
Mm.
get into it, but some projects truly got wrecked. So yes, Hedera Heatwave was beneficial for the vast majority of any project that launched, but some got absolutely obliterated. That it's part of the game. Some will recover, some won't, but that's part of the game. After that, for a project that I vouch for, I still got to find the proper angle where I just talk about stuff that I love
Mm.
every single time. People approach me many times, like, say, "Hey, can I be on your video and whatnot?" I say, "Well, what I do, I'll just go inside your Discord. I will vibe with anything. I have to breathe into it. I have to see the white paper, light paper, whatever. Talk to me. I have to read the projects. I have to know, because after that, it needs to be natural for me, and that's the thing,
Mm.
right? Because all the videos I do are always one take, so I have the feeling, that I'm really saying what I believe, and at the same time, of course, it's facts, but I'm in there as much as you guys, this is full time. Okay, this is 60 hours plus a week, 100%. But in terms of vouching or supporting projects, of course, I support every single project, that's on the list of mints and drops. But at the same time, it goes hand in hand where, you have to make your own choices. And the best way for you to make your choices, of course, is being informed. That's why I'm here for. But again, it truly passes by me just genuinely vibing with the project leads first and foremost, even before the artwork, even before the utility, whether it's coins, whether it's anything, because you truly just invest in people. At least for me, that's what I do.
Yeah, no, you're spot on.
He's
Glad,
just
it's nice
like
to hear
us,
that.
Tinfoil. It's speaking
Yeah,
the same language. You
yeah,
got we always recommend you always invest in people first in this space, especially when it comes to art. I mean, if you're looking at NFT projects, the vast majority of the ones that win big don't win big because their art was superior. And that's the thing. Like when you look at, it's really funny, and I'd like to know your opinion because I know that you just did a video, I believe, on the Hangry Barboons, and that's like an extremely hyped mint that's a long time coming, and people are fired up like crazy. Like everyone's going to be trying to mint that. It's going to break the hashback wallet for sure. It's going to be I'm going to still figure out a way to mint. Everyone's going to be mad at me, but it's going to happen. But when you look at that, I see the marketing, I see the branding, I see people saying, "Hey, this is going to be the Bored Apes, or this is going to be, whatever." That's just like you put it out there enough, and people start to believe it. But then if you go down to like the technicals of it, it's good art, but it's not like the art itself is what separates it. The art's got nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with why it's going to be a brand that people want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 100%. You got to be all about the team. That's why it's important to me. And it's
Yeah.
okay. I know there's very big projects on Hedera, just like every network where the team is not doxed. And that's okay. Lots of teams have had success because the community has its own power behind it, that it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really matter if the leader's doxed or not. But for us, it was always important. Every time I introduced myself to anyone, they were like, "Oh yeah, can we hop on a call?" We get on a call. The first thing I do is turn the camera on, because you
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. There is that connection you can get. Um, but just let's talk about that real quick. Let's transition. We'll do some topics here in a minute, but just for time's sake, give us the quick version on the Hangry story from what you know of it and why you think, why everyone thinks it's going to be, you know, pretty much slam dunk mint this week.
Mm-hmm. Before I used to think that there were three variables, to really make an amazing project being truly amazing. So let's quantify being amazing by volumes. Okay, like say you mint and it's crazy, FOMO kicks in and amazing. I thought it was about community. Then after the visuals, of course, and then visibility for sure, because you can have community visuals, of course, but if you don't have the visibility, nothing's going to happen for you. The latest variable that I had, and it's right after the summer, was branding. It truly popped because this is the magical spot where everything happens, because it's a mix up of all of those variables that comes in, and then boom, you have Nike, boom, you have Apple, boom, you have Tesla, you have everything that sparks magic without you knowing it, and that's really everything you want down the road, because you have to have community, because people are going to back you every single time, and you always going to have somebody that retweets, somebody that says, "Oh yeah, there's a mint," because it's not necessarily just FOMO. It's about branding, that you read it and that you know it even without knowing it. So, and Hangry really strikes that as true, because he's found a way with his community, because he took his time. I don't know if you listen, but to the podcast, I mean, it's crazy. That guy's been around since January, didn't launch, aside from the Angry Heads, of course, didn't launch since January. Wow. I mean, this is patience, this is confidence, this is really building. And of course, we're going to various arrays of why it took so much time, because of course you have a family over there, you don't want to put 80 hours a week all the time, but still this is consistently building inside the Discord, Twitter. What am I going to do with the product, the projects, and then after all that is all mixed up, Angry really is a mixture of everything that works well for the branding, and it strikes us true. Whether they're going to be the Bored Ape, me the answer to that, they're going to be the Angry of Hedera. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
That's beautifully said. Beautifully said. I think I just had a call earlier today with the guy who's running the Murderheads project on ETH, which is Liquid Death, the like canned water. It's their NFT project, and that
Okay.
Liquid Death brand is just a marketing machine. Like, how do
Mhm.
you sell $2 cans of water? You know, you got to be a marketing machine. So we were talking, and he's running basically 3 projects on ETH right now. And I asked him, you know, hey, we have been really successful on the smaller layer ones. We'd like to be successful on the big platforms, you know, with the biggest reach, biggest audience at some point. We'd like to do a project there that really has legs and you know, succeeds at a high level, just like everybody would
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I was like, what would your advice be? And he goes, I wouldn't, I would just build a community and
Mm-hmm.
wait till Q2, Q3 next year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
and
100%.
that's just how it is. I mean, the market is the way it is. This is a time for degen mints on most chains. Like, unless you've done the work like Hangry has, you know, you're not going to be able to sell out at a big price with a big supply. So even on ETH, like, it's the age of, if it's more than 0.02 ETH, it's unlikely to
Mm-hmm.
sell right now,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just degen mints. That's what people want. And I was like, that's not what people want to hear, though. People don't want to hear, I got to
Yeah.
wait 6 to 9 months to build a
Yeah.
community and mint.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's one of the powerful things that Hangry did. I've talked with a lot of our artists during this time, during this season where on the networks they're on, you just can't make much money like you could. And now is the time to build your community. No matter what, if you're releasing a project, release it in a way that brings in community, whether it's a free mint or it's just free for your current holders, but just do things to deliver value and build community. But you're so right. And Tinfoil, I know you're big on ETH as well as far as collecting. Like, we're cross-chain collectors. We got NFTs on tons of chains. But what you always look for, it is the brand. It's not
Yeah.
just a community. The brand makes community easy. If you
Yeah,
got a
exactly.
brand that has a good hashtag, I mean, even something that's a good hashtag, something that sounds good, you have a look. Like, I was wearing a doodle shirt earlier because I was at a store in real life and they had doodles and they had mutant ape like merch at the store, and I was like, I don't know, I'm going to be a poser. I'll buy one of these. You know, this is awesome. I don't have a doodle, but I'm representing the NFT world out there. Um, but it's a brand, you know, and so I love what you said, and that makes me super bullish, not just to mint to flip, but to really mint as many as possible to see where this project goes. Because I see the same thing with the Dead Pixels. They've got a brand on Hedera. The Creamies have a brand on Hedera. Um, and
Creamies look great.
I'm not sure personally, just off the top of my head, who else has a brand like that has gotten to where it can scale. Others may, but I think that right now others have like what we have, which is you have your like cult like following, and you have your people that will invest in you, and you have things that can attract people. But do you have that brand that you could see scaling to the Web 2 world, that you could see bringing in the masses? And I hope no one's offended by that, because that's not meant to be offensive. Like, I'm not putting us in any of our projects that's Potluck there. I think we do have an artist with a brand, Teens on Acid. He has a brand. Um, but besides that, it's hard. It's few and far between. But him, he's just like Hangry. That guy's been working on his brand, building his brand. I think it was started in 2007 was when he started his like Acidverse brand of the characters and envisioning it. So you're talking about 15 years that just now finally found a
Journey on how he came to this character set. It's incredible to watch. Um, yeah, I got to touch on this again because I think that's a super important point. Your 3 variables.
Am I back? Am I live on the Twitter sphere? There we go. All right. Well, it's just me. Phil, you back?
Are we back?
Whoa. We're
Wardrobe
back.
change.
Wardrobe change. Look at that, dude. We did that. We did that smooth. Nobody even realized it. Everyone in the chat, nobody even knew that we were gone. It was amazing. They didn't even recognize it. So, um, yeah, I didn't change my top. I just had time to take my pants and boxer briefs off. So we are good.
Now we're good. Yeah, we lost Phil though.
Oh, Phil just
Uh,
needs to click.
but yeah, the whole three, those are three really good. I like those points: community, visuals, and instead of visibility, being branding. And that's a great way to put it, because branding does encompass the importance of the visibility and the ease of visibility.
Yeah, and Phil, I saw a project. I sent a video to the team the other day. It says ETH project. It's been around for a while, but I just discovered it. And their pinned tweet was this just epic video. Like it was really professionally done. And it's just the images themselves, the art for the project's not like super art. It's just a cool concept of light versus darkness. So like half the images are black and white and half are color, and it's all about like them having a war against each other, but it had this like storyboard, this, it was like a minute long or 30 seconds long, just the best video I'd ever seen. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I got to know because we got to step our game up. This video is incredible. And like immediately I went and just bought some of your swept the floor on OpenSea because of the video. I don't know anything about your project, but that was awesome. And he was like, a couple things. Number one, this was a free mint project. So only possibility of making money was royalties. Number two, he paid out of his own pocket $9,000 to have the video made. But it made the brand. Like that one video created the brand, but it's like, are most people willing to go to that length to
Yeah.
create a brand? And it's sadly I have to even ask myself for most of our projects we've been a part of, am I willing to do that? And a lot of them, the answer is no. And so now reevaluating, especially in this market, in a bull market, everything's fun. Everyone makes money no matter what. But when the market's down, you have to reevaluate. You have to do less. You have to be more intentional. And and I think we've really been doing that soul searching to work hard of like in 6 months, what do we look like? And I think it's fewer projects. I think it's more tools, like being more of the creators of the tools that every project uses. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for us as a brand, like we've done the project creation, we've done the building. Now I think it's time to become the marketplace, to become the tool supplier for people, like to do those things. So I'm excited about what we're building, but you're so right. It's all about brand. And it's so frustrating because I have books on my shelf I'm looking at right here. I have a book from about Walt Disney on branding. I have a book about Pixar. I've got all these books, but it's like you can't just emulate it. It's not, there's no easy formula to like one, two, three. Now you have the successful NFT brand. And so it's so funny. It's so fun to just study people that do it right and hopefully learn the right lessons. Just try your best, learn what you can learn. But what would be your advice, just real quick, and we'll jump into these few topics. 2 minutes for the people listening who are not the creators but the collectors. Maybe they're people jumping into Hedera for the first time, or they're just people that are already in Hedera who are looking at, I want to be more active in the NFT scene. Like what's your general advice to, because for me it's just buy what you like, find communities you vibe with, and just go after those. Who cares, if they're uber successful? Just pick the ones that you like and have, contribute positively to your life when you're a part of them. But what would your advice be to them, knowing the ecosystem inside and out, as to how best to approach it?
You've nailed it in a way that just go on with the projects that you like, and the project that you like often they will resonate in a way that it'll be also the leads that's behind the project. It's the very same thing as in real life, where you're gonna get along with the people online the same way you would get along with them in real life, whether you want it or not, even though it's only in Discord. And when you see them, face to face, pictures, whatever, it's going to be a fit anyways. So my proposal is always, first and foremost, of course, just venture in the project that you like, invest into the people that's behind the project, and lastly, just take your time, because you have time. If you zoom out, everything is there. Again, there's so very few of us right now on Hedera. We have time. We have the luxury to build. We have the luxury to wake up every morning and hope to take the spot you want. Okay, well, you want to do videos. You want to I don't know, build a marketplace. You want to hop on and help hashback. I don't know, anything. Everything is still up for grabs since it's so early. So yeah.
No, I
Awesome.
love this. I know we're about to get into topics, but before we do that, and these projects might come up in the topics. I want to go back to your 3 points, but I want you to kind of break them down and give us a couple projects that you think have the best only community. So let's not look at the branding or the visuals, but just community alone. What are some of your favorite projects? Some of your favorite projects on just visuals alone, and then some of your favorite projects on just the branding alone.
Well, that's a good question. I got my.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
getting a pen out.
It
I got
is.
to
You
get my
want to
pen
go?
ready. Yeah,
You can
go.
go
No,
first
go
if you want.
for it, man. No, you. Pressure's
Okay.
on you, man. People can be
All
mad
right.
when you didn't mention them. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm open. I'm gonna get some DMs anyways. That's fine. I can deal with that.
We're putting this in a 3-minute clip and putting it all over Twitter for you.
Yeah. In the spin, like, oh yeah, Phil for mints and drops. Nobody's gonna care. Community wise, has to be koala, 100%. Too strong for too long. For years, those guys, 2 guys, and after that 3, because there's more, that gone on after that. The community it's unparalleled over there. Every single person that I know, whether has owned or is on Koala Hash Club, the chat is oftenly bumping even before the Gen 2, and they did not drop for like 7 months. Community is really strong. They've managed to find a spot where they're efficient, they're professional, but at the same time they're empathetic, and they care for you. Wow, who wants nothing less or nothing else than a slayer who understands you? That's everything. He can get the job done, and he gets you, and he understands you. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna retweet. I'm gonna do everything. And for community based, I mean, of course, many communities out there, of course, and we could make a list, and I don't want to make a list, are
I
all
mean, that's good.
slaying.
That's good. You got koalas. You got me hyped about them right there. So we got the koalas.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
secondly, let's move on to what the next one was. What'd you say the second one was?
Let's go
Visuals.
visuals.
Mm-hmm. This is so subjective, man. I mean,
It is. Yeah. This one is. We're gonna get a read on your art style here.
Yeah. I mean, for now, right now, I love AI. AI to me is really fun because first
This
and
is
foremost,
interesting.
why it's
This is
fun
so
is
fucking
because
interesting.
there's so much fun in there, and people don't care and say, "Wow, it's too easy." That's what you get, right? No, say it. It's true. Everybody's going to say, "Yeah, I can hop on Midjourney, AI, whatever, and do whatever." Okay, true, very true. You can do stuff, but every single time there's a trend, people, true artists, I was about to say something cursy, true artists come out and then they do something amazing. And then they do it throughout time, consecutively throughout time. And then they come out victorious. And then people just shut up about the new way. Oh, yeah, AI, yeah, we're accustomed to it. It's not frightening us. Okay, it's fine. This is AI. Oh, yeah, this guy does AI. Wow. This is really nice. And it's like for anything in art, everything is new. There's always doubters, but for me right now, AI strikes to me as, first of all, of course, it's different, but because it's kind of new. Hedera Sentient right now is absolutely slaying. They have a launch pad. This guy does everything. He does everything right, to me, in my opinion. Art is absolutely amazing. Launchpad is solid AF. Community, is they ride for him. Respect. But again, there's so many more. Of course, Dr. Satoshi. Of course, with We Dissect Stuff is. I mean, let's go. This French guy is a blessing. For the eyes. Pixels, of course, man. Dead Pixels for sure. Shout out to Renly for punks. Man, Vicente Vicizi, with Batty Hattie, who did the first round. Of course, it's pixelated. It's amazing. Man, I mean, Hangry, of course, Hedron Dragon, Hashmans, Shadies. The list goes on. But yeah, for me, AI is something that's fun again because it's new and people fear it. And what people fear, usually I go dive in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. In general, I lean on the side of like, I can tell the difference if you just plugged in words on Midjourney or Dolly or any of these, and now you're trying to sell it to me as art. And that's, to me, if the NFT itself is not meant to have any artistic value, but it's more like a token or a membership thing into this club, I'm fine with that. When I know you just plugged in a few words, I'm not minting it. That's me. But there's a guy that I started following early on. Now he's built a big following. I followed him when he had like a couple hundred followers, and now in a couple of months from doing his AI stuff on Soul, he basically takes the big projects and he'll make like custom ones with his AI filters. And he uses 4 different programs. After Effects, he uses, so it's a mix. And I think I found that I really enjoy when they use multiple programs and then they use some artistic touch that you would never know that's a girl behind it. And so it is scary, the potential, especially on dating apps. Tinfoil, very scared for you. But I just love that response. That's awesome. All right. So the last one, branding, we'll let you out the hook for time's sake. I'm going to go with Hangry from what you described with them. Is there one other one that you say, man, their branding's incredible? They're obviously a brand.
Dead Pixel.
Yeah.
Too strong. Those 2 guys, machines. They came in with a plan. They executed. Everything's there. And branding is absolutely effing incredible if you don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't see it, but it's strong, and you're like, wow, how come I'm thinking about Dead Pixels when I eat a bowl of cereal? And I'm like, wow, okay, I got to go into Discord. Wow, okay, what's happening? Okay. Branding is super strong. It's true. Branding is so strong that you don't think about it. That's how strong it is to me, in my opinion.
No, that's perfect. I was telling people I've got PTSD every time I see Dead Pixels because one of my first mints on Phantom was, if you see the art, you'd be like, oh, that's very similar to Dead Pixels. And it was an awesome looking project with lots of potential, but they rugged. They just disappeared one day pretty soon after mint. And it was very sad for the community. But the thing that makes me the most sad was that they just disappeared, because now that we have an NFT brand, if there's one project that I'm like, I wish they could just give us control of the project and we could revitalize it, that would be the one, because it's just such fire. Plus, on Phantom, it's got the spooky theme for everything. So just imagine Hedera had the theme of Phantom where your Dex is called Spooky Swap. It would be magical. But obviously, that's part of the branding. That's what's so impressive is when these brands, they don't even mesh with the branding of the chain, and it still becomes the powerhouse brand. That's powerful. Okay, so time-wise, we got a couple topics on plot. If you can throw up those topics, if we're able to. All right. So what's minting? We already talked about Hangry Barboons, but do you have any other projects that are minting either currently, maybe the mint just started, that people should be aware of, or they're coming up that you want to highlight?
Ordinary X dropped the public today. If you don't know about them, that guy is absolutely slaying. He's been around for so long. It looks like all one of ones. Absolutely amazing art. Barboons, of course, on the 15th. There's Mutant Ape Clubs too that's dropping tomorrow. Whitelist. There's so many much more, man. I mean, Heterosentient 2 is dropping on the 23rd. It's like a Halloween themed. Of course, they're launching on their platform.
Phil, I got to go back to that first. Sorry, Phil. The
Yes,
first
yes.
one
You go
you
again.
said Ordinary X.
Yeah, yeah, you got to check it out. Check it out. Project X from Ordinary Guy. Inside, I've posted it on my Twitter several times throughout the last 2 days. Whitelist was yesterday. They launched on Hash Guild. Absolutely amazing project. Check it out. Art is, again, branding is really really strong, and they rock. VCZ is dropping later on this month too. This is a music NFT project. If you do not know about it, then
Ooh.
what are you doing? Check it out. The lead is Vicente. He knows his music. He knows what's up. He knows the game. Doing the work took his time. I mean, there's only one gen that's been out, and Gen 02 is coming up. Absolutely amazing. Took his time and really understands what's organic and branding too. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. You mentioned a music project. Are there any
Mm-hmm.
other music projects on HBAR currently yet? This is a
And
meta that I'm exploring at the moment. I'm really
mhm.
excited for music NFTs to become a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. To my knowledge, no, this is the main one that I know of, and so far, he's been so on the dot, and we oftenly chat about music and everything. The guy is real, is the real deal. But to my knowledge, that's the only one on my radar as of right now. There's also Lame Llamas that's launching on the 18th, I believe, October. If you don't know, Lame Llamas, what Maury is amazing guy too. He's worked for a very long time. He's an OG right here. Sentient, I've said it, VCZ. There's FOMO Dodo too on November, and Hot Dog Hustle on the 23rd. That's in November too. And of course, everyone too is waiting for the next Punks drop.
And then when it comes to minting experiences, I know
Mhm.
we've had Potluck. We've done our mints on NFTers.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the typical
Great,
mint
great platform.
experience that somebody can expect from one of these projects? Are they usually on their own websites that they're minting from, or are they usually on like a launch pad, like an NFTers?
Launchpad. And by the way, shout out to NFTers. I've had nothing but positive experiences over there. Treatments over there. One among them was Young Doodles. Oftenly, it's launch pads. You see koalas launched on Zeus. There's also the Turtle Moon Launchpad. They had Creets. They had a couple others. Of course, they have Punks. Angry on Saturday will be launching out there too. There's
Phil,
also Hash Guild.
you said the Turtle Moon.
Yeah, Turtle Moon Launchpad.
Okay.
Check it out. This is the Punks Launchpad. This is fired by Patches, my favorite wizard. And yeah, they launched also Angry Barboons over there on Saturday. Creets, various area of projects too. Hash Horses too. There's Hash Guild that's
Hash
around
Guild.
too.
Yeah,
Project
that's a great.
Yes, Project X launched over there, and of course Hash Tools. They launched 60 projects from May up to now. Hash
Wow.
Tools or Head Over Tools on Twitter. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah. And HBAR Space is coming in very, very hot too. They're coming in, with airdrops, Launchpad, everything. Killers. Shout out to Emrak.
See, this is awesome. It's awesome. Like, I just think it's really cool to see because playing around these different ecosystems, like there's so many, there's basically, it's like there's always different plumbing in place for like the size of ecosystem. Like Phantom had massive ecosystem in terms of like number of NFTs, like number of DeFi projects, all this stuff. But we only had two marketplaces. There was like one launch pad and zero trading analytics tools. Like even to this day, zero trading analytics tools. Then you go to Avalanche, not as many NFT projects. Good ecosystem, but not as many NFT projects. They've got 5 marketplaces, a couple different analytics tools, and then you get to HBAR, and it's like seemingly a newer ecosystem that's even smaller than those two ecosystems, but
Mm-hmm.
best wallet experience I've had. One of the best marketplace experiences I've had. You just gave me 5 launch pads. How about any analytics tools? Are there any of those yet?
Turtle Moon is coming in hot with this, and HBAR
Oh, great.
Space, to my knowledge, yes. No, Turtle Moon Launchpad is looking to be a launchpad, yes, but with the whole array of you can mint and do the whole shebang over there,
Oh, this
and
is
farming
crazy.
too. They're already doing some farming too. Yeah.
Like when I think about this, I mentioned it earlier when the bear market kind of first really got a hold of us, but it was like this feels like such an unbelievable opportunity where we're almost looking at the prices. I mean, for Phantom, I think actually HBAR is maybe just up a little bit from when I first got into HBAR. Phantom
Ooh,
again
we
up
got in
just a
early.
little bit from where I first got into it, and it's like, but when we first got into these ecosystems, there was nothing to do here. Now there's these
Yeah,
big
it's true.
booming ecosystems. There's so much to do. Like to me,
Hmm.
this just feels like such a great opportunity for the next set of people that are going to come in before the bull run comes.
Hmm. It is. It truly is, and that's why it's so important again to just zoom out. Especially when you think you've in French, it's like hitting a rock in your shoe, and you're like, "Oh my god, this sucks," or whatever. XYZ, I cannot do it. I cannot mint, or whatever happens. Just zoom out, zoom out, man. I mean, yeah, it's cliche, but we're so early. We got time with us, and yeah, for sure. The feeling is everything's possible, and I truly believe it is. You want to make something happen, just make it. You have the resources, you have the people around you, and you have the network. Wow.
Yeah, I love it. I really hope they continue to make this push towards what I've heard is the EVM compatibility, because if they
Mhm.
can actually make that happen, I think the HBAR ecosystem is really going to see a boom. Because again, like I said, the tools and the experience is all in place now. Um, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
people getting integrated to it.
it's interesting, from coming in as an outsider to having experienced a lot of ecosystems and then coming into Hedera and experiencing an ecosystem that's it's not just that it's newer in the NFT scene, it's that it's disproportionate compared to any other ecosystem in the amount of users who have no crypto experience outside of that ecosystem.
Mm.
Hedera has
Mhm.
done an incredible job onboarding Web 2 users and their OG holders, into their ecosystem who have no experience outside. And it's created a weird dynamic because you didn't have smart contracts for so long on Hedera.
It's
Everything
true.
was built
Yeah.
on smart nodes, and there's actually a very big fear just in general from people on Hedera of smart contracts. Whereas the rest of crypto, it's not like, yeah, everyone knows you can't trust every contract, but like everything is done with contracts. Now, it's a double-edged sword. It's awesome. You can build without it, but there will be no mass migration to Hedera without EVM compatible smart contracts, which is why it's now supposedly EVM compatible, but it's still a long way. I was talking with our dev, because we're building a couple protocols over there, and he's like, it's smart contract enabled now, but it's not EVM compatible. EVM compatible, you just like plug and play essentially. So Temple is right. I think there's a lot of tools already in place that most places don't have, but it's a lot because people don't trust contracts and a lot of people don't know how to build there. So everyone does it through a launch pad, which it can add a layer of trust and lead to less rugs, I think, than a lot of places because everyone's having to go through launch pads. So as long as you can go through trusted launch pads who do due diligence, you cut out a lot of bad actors in the process. We're really excited. So Tinfoil has this nemesis, and it's not a joke, but like we laugh about it because if you didn't laugh, you cry. So Tinfoil, when I got into crypto Twitter stuff, I had no following. I built this all 11,000 followers was just the last 10 months or so. Tinfoil had like 12,000 followers when I got started, basically. He got up to 12,000 genuine just from doing what you're doing on Hedera, being that source of NFT knowledge, trust in the community. And he called out a scam. And this scammer was, bringing stolen art. It was stolen art onto Phantom, minting it, called him out. Well, that guy was a pretty sophisticated scammer, and he used bots to mass report Tinfoil's Twitter. Got him banned. And then got I don't know, what account are you on now? Five,
Yeah,
four,
I'm on number 6 now. Number
number
6.
six. Number six. So got 6 of his accounts banned. Just like every time he starts to build 3,000-4,000
Crazy.
followers, it gets banned. So that being said, this guy's new scam, among others, is I don't even know how the scam works necessarily, but he airdrops these NFTs, just constant, has a bot that just constantly airdrops NFTs to holders. Like if you held a dead pixel or a creamy, you begin these NFTs airdrop to you, because his hope is that people will look at these wallets, and see, oh man, these creamy holders also hold these other NFTs. I got to go buy those. Like that's the scam. And my wallet must have 500 NFTs that I don't want, that are just taking up
Mm.
space in the wallet. And you don't know if you can interact with them because they may be malicious contracts. So the best thing in the world about Hedera, I don't care about everything else. You can tell me it's fast, it's carbon negative. You can tell me like 50 layer ones are that. It doesn't matter. It's so amazing that no one can freaking airdrop me something that I don't want in my wallet.
Yeah.
That is the best security feature in the world, and Hedera
Yeah.
has it. And so they're called 8-bit cats, no, and 8-bit statues and 8-bit
Yeah.
this. So if you hear people freaking out on Twitter about 8-bit stuff, that's the cause of all our stress in our lives. So
We found it.
But like, it's actually like
Yeah.
they can destroy your wallets. Like,
Wow.
I have fucking 3,000 Phantom NFTs on this one wallet, and then all of a sudden, 1,000 of these scam NFTs get dropped. It literally makes that wallet unusable.
Wow.
So like coming over
That's crazy.
to HBAR and having this experience where, and that's the other thing I want to touch on too, that Voodoo, you kind of mentioned for a second. To me, like the way HBAR, the ecosystem, has seemed to lean NFT heavy, to me as an NFT fan, is super exciting. Like to know how many NFT tools and stuff are already in place, and the lack of a DeFi ecosystem, to me is really interesting. And this is kind of the topic that we have already tried to get through to other foundations of other chains, that it's going to be NFTs that onboard people more than DeFi does.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because it's visual. Visually, you can always onboard stuff that you understand. Period. A DeFi, if you don't understand it, you're going to be frightened by it. Ooh, what is this? And then you got to do some work. And the thing is, you have to understand that what strike as true, especially for because NFTs, are getting really popular, and especially on socials and whatnot, especially on TikTok, people see and recognize this as being something that's valuable instantly, and they saw and they can relate to it. So, of course, what the first thing you're going to do when you jump into that game, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, an NFT. What can I do with this? I can flip it. I can keep it. I can make money that's relatable to me, and I can share this experience, and people will understand." So that's my guess and my humble opinion. Why, of course, the NFT is the first very wave of how you want to onboard anyone that's new and that does not know what this whole ecosystem is all about, into this whole game of things.
One of our Aussie artists, Freud, he was just doing an interview with some content creator, and I've seen them put out a video, but he's got a great quote in it where he says, the only thing more valuable than currency is culture. And that's what, basically, we're entering this new age where
Hard.
culture means more than money at this point. Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Strike up the word NFT to any kids out there that's above 16. They're going to say, "Wow, are you rich?" Well, I could, but potentially. I mean, it's all about the
Yeah.
culture, right? But first and foremost, they're going to know right away. Any kid that's out there, any high school kid or whatever, they know what NFTs are because they're on TikTok, they're on socials, and they know all they see is the big moves, or adequately, the big move, is it real or not? But yeah.
I say this often. I've got two little brothers that are 14 and 12, and I have an easier conversation with them about NFTs than my parents, and it's no question about it. They completely grasp the idea of it already because they're playing
Mhm.
Roblox and Minecraft, so they're already starting to see it being integrated into their games. Parents, on the other hand, they're still it took Ozzy Osbourne releasing an NFT project for them to go, oh, what's that? But dude, I can do this forever. On Wednesday night, I will be doing an HBAR space at 8 p.m. Eastern, just to kind of go over the ecosystem. Would love to have you come by and drop more alpha, because yeah, dude, I need to get blue chips off you. I got so many questions for you.
I mean, I'm down for whatever, man.
Yeah, while you guys were talking and I wasn't working, I got on and just bought the sickest Project X that was near the floor that I could find.
Oh,
So check that tweet out. It's my PFP on Twitter now. It's
let's go.
man, it is freaking fire. So great,
You gotta
great.
admit, the art is amazing. I know they got lots down the road to planned, in terms of post JPEG. Those guys, they do the work.
That's awesome.
Phil, just get your thoughts here from one of our awesome collectors, viewers in the chat. Dometter's asking what your thoughts are about education-based utility NFTs. Something like cooking classes, dev workshops, art classes.
Go. Anything. I was into Expectar spaces earlier on this morning. And, they're talking about, of course, loans that will be tokenized, so you can have a part of real estate transferable for you besides and through an NFT. I mean, anything for me that is past, and again, respect to JPEGs, I love it. Anything that is past the image, for me, anything that's relatable, anything that can bring more people in. So whether that's educational, whether that's for authenticate your watch, whether that's for automobile parts, whether that's for anything that's useful, that's, you can use on your daily life, memberships, anything. I mean, that's really where value to me is, and, there's another project and it's on ETH, so ETH jets. That's crazy, man. You can get onto a private jet. So all the empty spaces that's inside the private jets, you pay a fee per year. You have this NFT. And then as soon as the jet, from what I gather as information, as soon as the jet passes by, you book it, and then boom, you enter the jet. It's a private one, and you're in. So anything that's relatable to you inside your daily life, I mean, go. I mean, that's how we're going to get the most people out. And that's when we're going to stop using the word NFT for sure.
I can't wait till we get off this damn word. Because the fact you have to go through this whole rant on explaining what the word fungible means,
terrible.
It's brutal.
Oh wait, that's what the F stands for?
Yeah.
It
stands for alpha over here.
If I knew that, I would not have got into this. So Phil, I'm going to give you some alpha. We'll end with just this. We'll just go ahead and end with me giving you some alpha. We have a project coming out. This is a purely utility base. The art is going to be fine, but the whole point is buy the NFT to cash in on the in real life item. And we are partnering with Official NFTs, which is a NFT clothing brand that is mostly on Phantom, but they're going cross chain. They put out some high level drops, have partnered with like one-on-one artists to make really, really awesome clothing. But they're moving into doing like streetwear and stuff. And so we went to the foundation and we got their funding to help pay the costs on doing this. And we partnered with uglychristmassweater.com, like the OG ugly Christmas sweater maker. So it's like their quality. And we have a limited run of 300 ugly holiday. We'll say holiday for Hedera, but 300 Hedera ugly holiday sweaters coming this holiday season. So the mint will probably be right after Thanksgiving. There's only 300, and my goal, and maybe you can help me with this, is I would like to get a lot of these communities, these NFT communities, as our gift to them is having them where they can each have, let's say if there's 300, we could have 20 communities, each get 15 whitelist spots to raffle off to give to their community members who want to be able to buy one of these. And then basically the cost, I mean, it's not going to be a cheap one, but it includes shipping anywhere in the world by Christmas. Cool. And they're awesome. I'll send you a picture of them because we already have the production going. but it's just going to be fun. It's going to be something that's all physical. And then I'm hoping that with timing, we can do a party here in Dallas, in Richardson, with Lehman and with some people from Hedera for the launch of it. So it's just a fun thing. It's not like a major project, but it's going to be something really fun for the holidays. And then you're going to want to be one of those 300 people wearing it at your holiday
Dude,
parties, wearing the
dude,
Hedera swag.
getting merch on people is huge. Like just Phil
It is.
having that Hedera hat, like the fact that Voodoo, you and I don't have any chain agnostic, like chain gear, that's a big step, man. Like,
Shout out to Christian
Yeah.
Hasker because he's the one who dropped me the merch because I got myself the tattoo this summer.
nice.
So brag.
Nice.
So that's why, and he sent me that package. So shout out to him. Yeah. But that's branding. Again, that's
It
branding. I
is.
wear it,
It is.
mostly for my videos because I want it to stay clean. But again, that's branding. It's strong, it's simple, it's efficient, and you do
Yep.
not know it's there.
Well,
So
shout out to Sarge in the audience because I'm wearing his brand right here. And this is actually an
wow.
official NFT. You can scan me and see my NFT in my wallet.
Yeah,
That's so nice.
I bet you anybody on there
Wow.
could have scanned that right there and found your
Yeah, you could
NFT.
have scanned it. And I have this tattooed. I won't show you, but I have this tattooed on my lower back.
Wow.
And so
Wow,
that's why
that's crazy.
that's why he sent me a T-shirt. It's very nice, very
Wow.
classy.
Real degen. That's who
Yeah.
we are.
Well, man,
Wow.
we got to continue these talks right after this. Before I hop off for the evening, I'm going to DM you a couple PDFs. I want to show you behind the scenes and a couple things we're building in the ecosystem for your eyes
My
only.
pleasure.
And once again, if you're watching live, this is like your last chance because we won't be live anymore. So I'll give you a couple minutes. But if you're on Hedera and that's your preferred ecosystem for NFTs, DM me. I'll send you one for free. If you're on Phantom, DM me. I'll send you one from another network so it actually sells. Just kidding. I'll send you a Phantom one. I got to get rid of them somehow. I got 8-bit cats for days. But Phil, man, it's been awesome getting to chat with you face to
It was
face.
a pleasure. Thank you. It
And
was super fun. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, man. And look forward to talking more. And like Tinfoil said, if you can hop on that Spaces, he can get you the info for Wednesday. We're going to make that a weekly thing. And it'd be awesome to have someone who actually knows the space, So, but man, for Tinfoil, myself, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for tuning in. Those of you watching live, we love you, fam. And share this. Share this with everyone in the ecosystem. Share it with the Hedera fam. If we mentioned a project that you're a fan of, share it in those discords. Get people, because the whole goal of this is to shed light. We didn't even talk about one potluck project. Didn't even tell you one thing going on with us, because the goal is to shed light on the ecosystem. And I hope that our Phantom and AVAX and ETH holders and we'll see this and realize, hey, this is maybe a community I should bridge some funds over to, or port in this case, and I should
Yeah.
go have some fun. So, but yeah, man, thanks so much for the time. I'm gonna go refill the bourbon and join the family. It's been awesome.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the invitation.
Phil, to a fellow Canadian, happy Thanksgiving, sir.